Happy Father's Day, everybody, to all the fathers out there. Happy Father's Day to my father and to his father in heaven and everybody, every father. Saint Joseph, that was some hardcore fathering that you did. God, right? So all the fathers, happy Father's Day. And to get into this, something I do in my classroom, we do a little lyrics workshop. To do this, I stole something from comedians called the list method. Well, they'll take two subjects that would be kind of unrelated, and then they make a list of every word associated with it and kind of find the place where they cross. So every week I have a student come by and he says, I've got a dad joke for you. And every week I figure it out. And it is because of this list method. So let's do this. Let's do this as an activity. Why did the Grim Reaper go to the shoe store? In your head, you have Grim Reaper and you have shoe store, and then you make a list of everything that's associated with Grim Reaper, everything that's associated with shoe store, and then you find the intersection. Maybe it's not exactly the same thing. It might just be a word that sounds like the other word or something like that. But there it is. So go ahead. So Grim Reaper, shoe store. Why did the Grim Reaper go to the shoe store? Go. Think about it. I'm going to give you the answer, so pause if you don't want to hear it. It's to find souls, right? There we go. So that's the intersection of those two. That's the list method. Pawn Stars. So welcome to Entertainment Educates. I'm Sean DeGracia. If you take a look in the description or take a look at the card that I'm going to put right there, you can check out the rest of the Pop Culture in Your Classroom series. Today we're going to be doing Pawn Stars in Your Classroom. Come for the history, stay for the fight. So at Entertainment Educates, we believe that everything that entertains educates. Everything that will grab your attention and hold it for a really long time and make you binge watch it for a long time, it's teaching you about the world. Whether it's the world of that show or the world of our world, it's teaching you something. Okay, just in case you've never seen it or you've seen it and don't know how we can relate this and use it for our lesson, I'm going to explain it to you. The visuals come from my Teachers Pay Teachers product. I custom made a Pawn Stars episode using my own characters so that I could do something that was tailor fit for my lesson, which was in the woodwind instrument family. I also used it as a cross-disciplinary lesson to get into financial literacy, because financial literacy is a part of the STAR test that our students tend to do really bad on. That was my justification for doing a Pawn Stars type episode where I taught them about overhead, about profits. I reinforced basic arithmetic when they did the haggling part. So let me break down Pawn Stars. First, a person brings in an item. Second, they bring that item to the pawnbroker. Third, the pawnbroker gives some history. Then, they decide whether that item is real. The pawnbroker knows something about it and they know how to tell if it's real, or they call in an expert. The expert or the pawnbroker decides on what it would sell for. Then, after that, that's when the fight ensues. That's the haggle. The pawnbroker wants to buy it cheap. The seller wants to sell it for as much as they can sell it for. So that's the battle. That's like this intricate dance. My students literally watch the haggling portion like it's a real fight. When the Pawn Stars throw a low ball or they reveal that something is fake or not worth as much as the customer thought, they go, oh, or oh snap, or they'll even do, hit him with the low ball, hit him with the low ball. So
let's get ready to haggle.
So let me give you the steps to prep and how to interact with the Stars of Pawn. All right, for the prep, go to YouTube and find your Pawn Stars clip. Then watch the whole clip from bringing the item in to the deal being closed. Keep your eye on the time code just in case there's any cursing during that session. That way you'll be ready to hit mute at that right time. What I do is a screen capture with Screencast-O-Matic, and then I edit out any cursing. I also write down the numerical values given by each side during the haggling portion. Alright, so in class, start playing the clip. Maybe get them warmed up with a short Pawn Stars session with something they're really interested in, like a pair of Jordans. Once the item is introduced, pause the clip. Have them pair and share what they know about the item. Let the video play and have them pair and share about something new they learned, or if there were any inaccuracies or discrepancies with what they'd been learning in class. Have them make predictions about the item or any discussion topics that the expert would bring up. During the haggle, you may want to pause it and let them guess what each side will offer or ask for. You can also discuss some business and financial literacy during this part, making a profit, paying employees, overhead, etc. Then have students discuss or write about something they learned from the experience, or what they think would be a cool item related to the one discussed that they'd like to have someday. Okay, so let's get into some activities that you could do with your classroom. No matter what topic or what subject you're on, you can reinforce math with that haggling portion. Just use your imagination. You can even look for the objective that your math colleagues use and then put that objective into your lesson plan. You can make it from simple arithmetic to maybe percentages, ratios, that sort of thing. I mean, what fraction of the value they thought they were going to get did they end up getting? With history, it's a given. There's all kinds of different history that gets discussed whenever an item is brought in, depending on what part of history the item is from. With math, we have our haggle, but there may be some items that they go over. I think they did some kind of like code breaking, the Turing machine. For art, there's plenty of art pieces that they've haggled over on the show. For music, there's all kinds of musical instruments, famous musicians. For PE, they have all different kinds of sports memorabilia. So what I'll do is I'll jog in place while watching Pawn Stars, and whenever they're talking about history, I just continue my regular jog. Whenever they talk about money, then I do something more difficult until they go back to the subject of the history. So when they say, oh, that's gonna be expensive, or oh, like that's gonna be worth whatever X dollars, then I'll do a burpee or I'll do high knees or something like that. So that's something a PE person could do, and then it'll be kind of like a Tabata timer. In my class, whenever we learn about classical music, then they also learn a little bit about American history, because the classical period took place during the same time that America was becoming America. And I also did the thing where I hit mute and I had the class do the sound effects. I do that like all the time. That's kind of our go-to activity. So if this video brought you any value, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Actually, you could leave a comment in there about your favorite Pawn Stars episodes if you were a Pawn Stars person, or maybe some ideas for other shows that are educational that we wouldn't have thought of as being very educational.